Yeah.
Rest in peace, Nip.
Yo, man, this one goes out to everybody out there getting it on it.
And every other soul.
However you getting paid, how you paying your bills, hopefully it's legit. You know what I'm saying? But even if it ain't, do the best you can, you know what I'm saying? And get it on your own. Yeah, West Coast, slow motion. Waking up the morning views of the ocean, freshen up your swag, roll up your neck back, 40 on your hip, dip to the west side. Between the trees and the breeze is where you reside. You let the 6-4 dip slow, side to side. The good life, no longer stressing on that hood stripe. Your kids bless, you can't flex, they doing all right. On top of that, today you rhyme with your lady. Yep, that's your baby, play with her, they must be crazy. Had the hood going crazy when them shop doors open. Cuts in the city, that's what you been promoting. The pleasure's clear to see that every real G is positively positive to the community. Productivity, that's the slogan. Pushing back on the force is trying to stop us from growing. They can't hold it back. When the door of opportunity opens up for you like a Cadillac, you ain't having that, you came too far to try and travel back. And plus that's way too whack. So when the plans stay rolling and the dope keep floating while your life unfolding, then you keep going. Never mind the haters, can't make or break you. Where the hustle take you when your faith don't forsake you. Yeah, it feels good when you getting it on your own. Pushing fly wheels, putting families in, fly home. But you gotta stay strong when you're walking on your own and turn BS and rare when life ends, you stone. It feels good when you getting it on your own. Pushing fly wheels, putting families in, fly home. But you gotta stay strong when you walking on your own and turn BS and rare when life ends, you stone. But don't expect it to be easy breezy. Size being cheesy, it's slightly greasy like an Eskimo. Trying to sell your bro that don't love the pole. His ass still ain't free. The truth is you take the good with the bad. If it's worth it, then on purpose, it ain't easy to be had. But don't let it stop you, cause unless they pop you, then you gotta know the wind's already in the bag. It takes thick skin to walk amongst men that don't comprehend the grind that you're living in. Unfortunately, it usually proves to be negativity from friends and your family. But when you focus, you can't get caught slipping. You cool ranch while you dipping. Fly with eagles, not chickens. And you bound to see between you and me that there's no enemies. And yes, success is the proof. Me, I'm still noodle flowing in the booth. If you need more proof, go and check me mirror, cause it couldn't be clearer that you're bound for the top. So stay on your grind and don't you dare ever stop it. When roadblocks, act like mad cops, it only means you're just a mirror, homie, just watch. Ain't no need to be silent when you're made of iron. And for winners like you, there's no such thing as trying. It feels good when you're getting it on your own. Pushing fly whips, putting families in, fly home. But you gotta stay strong when you're walking on your own and turn BS to bread when life gives you stones. It feels good when you're getting it on your own. Pushing fly whips, putting families in, fly home. But you gotta stay strong when you're walking on your own and turn BS to bread when life gives you stones. And there you have it. You know what I'm saying? This goes out to everybody out there getting it on their own. Like I said, you over there, feel me? With the fade, all the barbershops, hair salons, nail salons, massage parlors, dentist office, you feel me? Soul food restaurants, whatever you do, man. You work for yourself, it's your anthem right here, man. It's my salute to you.
I see you
Get it on your own. And if you employ other people, you're a real life hero. You know what I'm saying? Salute. Yeah. Keep getting it on your own.
Truth be told, every champion has felt it. Every president has felt it. Every king has felt it. Every lion has felt it. Every winner has felt it. Every soldier has felt it. Every victorious person has felt it. The urge to quit. Don't you give up on your dream. I don't care if you don't have the money, you don't have the help, and you don't have the family for it, and you don't have the background for it, and you don't have the friends for it. Don't you give up on your dream. Don't you do it. Don't you do it. Don't you do it.
In a world full of hunger, growing up on stomach pains, trying to make it over puddles and avoid the dirty stains of the streets where the rain drinks more than just your pain, and everything you have to lose is everything you have to gain. It's a battle for your mind, for your soul, for your time. Either stay down in the mud or jump back up, get on the grind, trying to catch up in a race when you started from behind. So removed from the lead that you can't even see the line. And the ones who say they love you, the same ones who hold their hand from extending you the kindness that you needed to withstand. The same ones walking blindly with contempt for fellow man. They don't lose a wink of sleep even when they leave you stranded. Fuck them all, just in tall, never mind if you fall. Every hustler take it's a L. Without those, you can't ball. It's a dirty, dirty dance. Roll the dice, take that chance. Gotta tighten up your pants to stay a victim of circumstance. Opportunity comes at a glance. Get to stepping like a band. If it's school, rap and dance, it don't matter. Get your band to the sky up if it takes that to help you feel fly. Who am I to tell you not to when I'd rather see you try? It's a blackout to America, so I'm forced to make these choices. Ramen noodles or the bills while others riding Rolls Royce. And then claim to be their leaders. Whole time ignore their voices. Time to pay us what you owe us. They are just your first invoice. I suggest you pay up quickly. We are not that good at waiting. We have been too fucking patient. U.S. government is Satan, and the victory was ours. You can quit the time wasting and the stalling, cause it's time Babylon should get to falling. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I think by now we all know who the enemy is, right? And we all see who the enemy is, right? You know what I'm saying? Alright, so it's not a person working next to your job. Probably ain't the person that lives down the street from you. Not to say it ain't some weirdos in all these places that need to get addressed, need to get dealt with. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. We got a unique situation with my kid, when your kid, when they look back at our generation, what they gonna see? What they gonna see? A whole bunch of coulda, woulda, shoulda ass motherfuckers? Or they gonna look back and say, hey, I'm on my daddy's part of that generation. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I come from that. One more thing I've got to mention. If you listen, I hope you listening. We cannot ignore our kitchen, cause it's full of dirty dishes. We need mothers to be mothers, so our children can be children. We need fathers to be fathers, lead them right and give them wisdom, so our dreams can be reality, not just a bunch of wishes. Whether Muslim, Jew, or Christian, don't just talk it, you should live it. So I'm asking you, what would you do if on you this depended? For our dreams to be reality, not just a bunch of wishes. Victory is all.
Yeah. What's up, everybody? Shout out to everybody in YouTube land. A big 13. Big salute. Big shout out to my bro and his family. I see you in the building, Mr. Pride. Shout out to your sister, Crystal. Your beautiful wife and them beautiful babies at home, man. Hey, yo, what's going on? It's your boy. Well, not your boy. I ain't no boy. I'm a grown-ass man. It's your homie. Legit Hustle. Your brother from another mother, cousin, sister, whatever. You know what it is. Check it out, yo. Today, we talking about persistence. Now, why this topic? Why persistence? Well, naturally, this is Legit Hustle. And this is the channel for the hustlers, for the entrepreneurs, for the small businesses, self-employed people. And if you fit that description, if you fall in any one of those categories, then I don't have to tell you the need to have persistence. I don't have to tell you how valuable it is to be persistent in your efforts to do what it is, whatever that may be, that you're trying to do, right? So for the second episode of Legit Motivation, I figured we'd talk about persistence today. Persistence. And as you see, I got this beautiful AI generated image of a plant busting through some concrete or rocks or whatever that's supposed to be. But why the plant? Well, there are things about a plant that, small, frail as it may seem, that really exemplify persistence and what it really takes to be persistent in any endeavor. So today, we're going to talk about persistence. All right. So with that said, let's go and get into it. Y'all know how I do. I don't do a lot of talking and a lot of fluff. Before we get started, I think it's very important that we know exactly what the word persistence means. All right. And just a little footnote. Back when I was attending insurance school in Memphis, Tennessee, shout out Tom Severe, A+ Severe insurance training in Memphis, Tennessee. Back in the day when I was going to insurance school in Memphis, Tennessee, Mr. Severe taught us a little trick when it comes to learning concepts, new things. In that particular instance, it was about learning the financial terms that we needed in order to be able to pass the exam. Hey, Monique. Hey, sister. Another special shout out to my sister, Monique Robinson. Thank you, sweetheart, for pulling up on me, kicking it with me for a little bit today. But back when I was in insurance school, Mr. Severe taught us a little secret about learning new things. A lot of times when you need to learn something new or even just reinforce it in your mind, it's really helpful if you actually focus on the definitions, the terms of things within that, right? Now, Mr. Severe had about a 96% pass rate on the first time taking the life and health insurance exams in the state of Tennessee from his graduates. Now, that's extremely high, right? It's not most schools can't claim a first time pass rate that high. The key to his was that he drilled definitions into our head so that I knew the difference between term life, whole life, universal, variable this, and this, so that when I took the exam, I couldn't get tripped up when they mix and match the definitions and questions, right? So I decided when it came to doing these types of discussions, especially with on the private side of my classes, I put a lot of attention, I put a lot of focus on making sure that we all understand the definitions of the words that we're using. Because inside of the definition of the word is the answer that you're looking for, right? It's the very definition of the word. So let's start off with persistence. The definition of persistence is the steadfast continuation of a course of action, belief, or purpose, especially in the face of difficulty, obstacles, or discouragement. Now, again, this is legit hustle. So I talk to entrepreneurs, business owners, self-employed people, anybody on the grind trying to do something for themselves, be self-sufficient, get it on their own. Again, if you fall into any of those categories, I don't need to tell you the value of being persistent. But I also don't need to tell you that you're going to face difficulty, that you're going to face obstacles, that you're going to face discouragement. I don't have to tell you those things. You've dealt with it already. But what is really the key to being persistent? Again, we're going to pay strict attention to the definition of persistence. Okay? So let's get into this. So the first thing is persistence is very, very necessary for those of us in this endeavor, business or whatever, because resistance is inevitable. It's never going to be completely smooth. It's never going to go just right. It's never going to go just the way you planned it. You have to expect the unexpected. So here we go back to the plant that I started out with or showed the image of on the very first slide, right? Something interesting about a plant coming from a seed. In order for that seed to actually become the plant that it is, whether it's a corn, whether it's a sequoia, a redwood tree, an apple tree, or just a regular weed, that seed has to overcome obstacles to become that. Well, what type of obstacles? Well, it's got to overcome the outer shell that seed, that new plant is encased in, correct? Okay, so after it overcomes that shell that it's encased in, now it has to overcome the resistance of the soil that it's buried in. Its roots have to overcome the resistance of the soil that it's planted in order to go deep so that that plant can have a firm, solid root ball and grow as strong as it possibly can. Once it breaks through the soil, now it's coming into an environment that it knows nothing about. And it needs air, it needs water, it needs sunlight. But too much air will kill it. Too much water will drown it. And too much sunlight will burn it. So we don't necessarily think about a seed as being something strong and persistent. But in order for that seed to even become a plant, it has to be extremely persistent because it has obstacles that it has to overcome in order simply to be a plant, correct? Now, the same is true for us as entrepreneurs, business owners, self-employed individuals. Again, I'm preaching to the choir. You guys know that you're going to face obstacles, right? But what type of obstacles? Well, one of the biggest obstacles that you got to overcome on your quest to be the person that you're growing into is you have to overcome rejections. You're going to get rejected a lot. Whether it's going out selling your product or your service to someone else, you're going to get no's. Everybody's not going to buy it, even if they need it, even if they want it, right? You're going to get rejections. You're going to get rejected by your family. You're going to get rejected by your friends. You're going to get rejected by the people that you expected to actually be a part of your growth. You're going to get rejection. So for those of us that are on this course, that choose this path in our lives, rejection just comes with it. Hence, the need for us to be persistent in our endeavor. Another thing you have to deal with, economic shifts. We can't control the environment around us to the point that none of us have to deal with changes in the economy, changes in the government, changes in policies and things that we have no say-so in. But all of those are forms of resistance that you're going to have to deal with, right? I'll give you a perfect example. The other day, for those of you all who were in the building, you remember that when we were talking about value, I used the real estate market to illustrate value, the difference between value, price, worth, those things, right? The real estate market right now, if you're trying to sell a house, is trash. It's absolute ass. If you're a real estate agent who makes any percentage of your money from selling houses, you're not probably doing very well in that category. Why? Because of the greater economic challenges that no one person has any control over. There's been hundreds of thousands of jobs lost. Inflation has been out of control. You can't control those things. But if you're in real estate, all those things are going to affect you because they affect your customers, your clients' ability to buy, purchase, or sell a home. But you have no control over it. Those are the type of economic shifts, resistance, pushback that all of us have to deal with and that you're going to face on this course as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, as someone who's self-employed. You can't do anything about that. You're going to face it though. Therefore, you got to be persistent. Another thing, time. Can you control time? Can you do anything about time? Let's say just prior to, matter of fact, we're not even going to use an anecdotal example. I'm going to give you a real life example. 2006, actually, the end of 2006. Me and my little brother had moved back to Atlanta at the time. And we moved back to the A in order to get involved in real estate investing. Now, my brother was a mechanic. I was in sales naturally, coming from financial services. So we knew that one of us needed to be in the real estate industry in some form or shape or another in order for us to really get a good foothold into real estate investing. Now, that transition was easier for me because I was already in sales. So I applied for this company, a position with this company. Had never done mortgages before. There was a mortgage company out of Sandy Springs, Georgia, called Home Capital. And if you've ever heard the term lending tree, which I don't even know if lending tree is really still around, but excuse me, back in the day, lending tree was a major source of funding for people that were seeking to buy or refinance a home. Well, Home Capital was the number 2 lender on all of Lending Tree. They had 2 offices, one in Sandy Springs, one in Scottsdale, Arizona. I'd never been in that industry before. I was just making that move because that was part of me and my brother's plans, right? Well, I end up getting in, and based on my sales resume, pretty much. But we had to take about 6 weeks of courses to get licensed to do loan origination in all 50 states. So we went through loan origination classes, got our licenses. I hit the sales floor. Now, I know there's good money in this real estate thing, but real story, my first week, the week I got to the sales floor at Home Capital, there was a guy on my sales team named Mike, another Mike. Mike made $96,000 that week. His commission that week was $96,000. That's how much money was being made in real estate and in the mortgage industry at that time. So I get there, I'm looking forward to making all this money. And then 2007, early 2007, something happened. Anybody in the chat, anybody watching remember what happened around 2007? I'll tell you. You start having this real estate crisis called subprime mortgages. All these mortgage-backed securities start to collapse because people were defaulting on their mortgages. That hit at that time. I had just gone through all this training, got licensed, made it to the sales floor, and before I could really make any real money to take care of, what I had to take care of, the woman who became my wife at the time had just moved to Atlanta with me. So I have her, and it's me and my brother living together. Well, right after I get started, before I could really get my foothold in the industry, it all came crumbling down. My teammates went from buying brand new Porsches and Audis and Infinitis cash to now we don't have any income. We can't get people refinanced. We can't get loans approved because of this big old thing, this economic shift that happened and was way bigger than all of us. The reason I'm telling that story is not only was it a big economic shift, but my timing, unbeknownst to me, put me right in the middle of it. See, when I first applied in 2006, I had no idea that the whole industry was going to collapse. I had no idea. Right? So as entrepreneurs, as hustlers, as business owners, as self-employed people, there are times when time is not going to be on your side. We also have to deal with personal and health issues. You don't always feel like that guy. You're not always going to be at the top of your game. You're not always going to be tip top, right? You just get into an argument with your wife or your husband at home. You got to go to your business and try to be on top of your game, but all you can think about is the bullshit that you're dealing with outside the office. It takes a little bit away from your effectiveness as an entrepreneur, as a business owner. You have to deal with that distraction. Maybe you have a health issue. Maybe you just got some bad news about your health condition. All of these things are things that those of us, everyone faces these types of things. But when your livelihood and your ability to provide for your family is based on you and your ability to perform, you have to be extra aware of these factors and what you're doing. Right? So, and these are things that aren't necessarily beyond our control. I mean, within our control, right? So these are the type of things that require us to be persistent in what we're doing, because you're going to face them. You're going to face one or the other. You might face all of the things I'm talking about. You might face all of the things I'm talking about at the same damn time. But that's what it is, especially for those of us that choose this course of life. So like I said early on, we're going to really pay attention to the definition, because inside the definition of persistence is the answer to being persistent. It's how you become persistent. How do you become unshakable? Whether you're at the beginning of this journey, whether you're well into this journey, whether you're an experienced business owner, entrepreneur, whatever, these are three things that all of us can benefit from implementing into our lives. So what are they? Remember, the definition defined persistence as sticking to a course of action, right? Those words, course of action, are very important. A course of action isn't a plan, because plans don't necessarily require action. You can plan all day. Don't mean you take any action on it. But if you have a course of action, it's literally defined by the actions that you're taking. Right? You've heard of an obstacle course. If you've ever ran an obstacle course, did any kind of training, CrossFit, maybe you had to run obstacle courses in school when you were playing football or basketball, whatever the case may be. But you've never heard of an obstacle plan. There's no such thing as an obstacle plan, because plans don't necessarily require action. But having a course of action means you have a set, defined outline of the steps, the actions that you're going to be taking. Even the term steps is about action. Standing still, I guess it kind of could be kind of an action, but it's not as much of an action as taking a step. The very idea of taking a step means you're taking an action. You're moving 1 foot forward or backwards, whatever you're doing, right? So based on the definition of persistence, the first thing you need to have is a course of action, not a plan, not a theoretical, this is what I'll do if and when this happens. You need a course of action. You need a series of steps that you are actually performing, a series of actions that you perform. That's key number one, having a course of action. What is the purpose of a course of action? Well, because courses of action are based on actions and not just theoretical plans, you need a course of action in order to maintain forward momentum. Think about it. We're talking about being persistent. Having a course of action helps you be persistent because it helps you maintain your forward momentum, right? And the course of action, the steps per se, they don't have to be huge, major steps. They don't have to be huge, major life-changing events. They may not get a lot of attention. You may not get a lot of praise or notoriety for them, but they're in action and they keep you moving forward. A small step forward is still a step forward. Some of your steps are going to be big. Some of them, are going to be small. It doesn't matter as long as you're maintaining forward momentum. If you are maintaining forward momentum, then you, by very definition of the word, are being persistent. That makes sense? Solution number 2. The definition of persistence included beliefs. Now, a belief is a state of mind that something is true, right? So in order to be persistent, you have to have the right mindset. You have to be in the correct state of mind in order to be persistent. I don't know why my camera is cutting off my head like that. It looks weird. But you have to have a very strong belief system, right? Do you believe in yourself? Do you believe in what you're doing? The business that you're starting? The work that you're doing to take care of yourself and your family, do you believe in yourself? The goals that you set for yourself, do you believe that it's possible to achieve them? If you have a weak mindset, if you have a weak set of beliefs, it's going to hamper your ability to be persistent. Remember, the definition of persistence is maintaining those beliefs. But if you don't have a solid foundation of what you even believe or what you believe in, it is not possible to maintain those belief systems. One of the big things about being an entrepreneur, being a hustler, being a self-sufficient individual is that little inner voice inside of us that everyone has. You can call it your conscience, but that don't mean it's always working on your behalf. Sometimes wait, y'all can't see the wait, you said it's only your camera? Oh, okay. You talking about the little cutting my head in half thing that's going on? All right, feel you. I was about to say y'all can't see the screen. I'm doing all this goddamn talking. Can't nobody see this shit. Appreciate you, PJ. So, yeah, the inner voice that you have, right? Another personal experience with you. One of my hardest challenges in being an entrepreneur, being self-employed, has always been my inner voice. Now, most of us don't come from money. We don't come from a background of seeing people necessarily do, achieve, and accomplish the things that we do and achieve. So, a lot of times we have to deal with that voice inside being critical of us. I say I'm going to go do A, B, and C. That little voice inside be like, I don't know, dog. You know what I'm saying? You ain't never did that before. How you know you can do it? You can call it doubt. Doubt can have a very loud voice inside of you. But if you're going to maintain your beliefs, you have to overcome those inner doubts. You have to overcome that little voice inside of you that when you say, I'm going to do, that reverberates back to you. I don't know. You sure, Mike? You ain't never did this before, man. How you know you can do it? Look at where you come from. Man, your family ain't never been rich. Your parents didn't own no businesses. Nobody in your family graduated from college. You sure you can do this? You're going to have to deal with that little voice inside. One of my favorite motivational speakers, the gentleman up on the screen right now, Mr. Les Brown. Salute to him. If y'all have never listened to Les Brown, I suggest you listen to people like Les Brown. Les Brown's story is amazing. When Les Brown was born, he has a twin brother. Him and his twin brother were taken into foster care away from their biological mother. And the lady who got him was determined on not separating him from his twin brother, which automatically tells you she's an amazing woman, right? She took on two just to make sure they didn't get separated. He was left in a dumpster, if I'm not mistaken. I believe his mother left them in like a trash can or something when they were born. He ends up in this woman's care. She's raising him and his twin brother. Get this around school time. Les gets diagnosed as being mentally retarded. They told his foster mother he'll never be able to do this. He'll never be able to learn or compete or keep up with his peers. That woman refused to believe that. She refused to place those burdens on Les. She didn't give him that excuse in life. She didn't tell him he wasn't going to be able to do it. She made him go out there and do it. So despite all the obstacles, matter of fact, when he was in school, the kids used to pick at Les Brown and call him the dumb twin because he didn't do as well academically as his brother. Well, based on the fact that I'm telling you this story, and he's a world-renowned motivational speaker, entrepreneur, sales trainer, Obviously, it wasn't true that he was never going to be, that he couldn't do. But what if Les had believed that? Would he ever have become that person you're looking at on your screen? Would Les Brown ever have become someone that in 2025, a guy with a little known YouTube channel is talking about? No. He would have never become that if he didn't believe it. Right? Or if he had believed that he was limited in the way they said he was. Right? A lot of times in Les Brown's lectures and his motivational speeches, when he tells his life story, he tells you he had to learn to tell himself to shut up inside. Shut up. You retarded. Your mama abandoned you. You're nobody. One of the greatest keys to his ability to overcome was he learned to tell himself to shut the hell up sometimes. He had to tell himself to shut up. For those of us on this course that choose this path in life, everyone should do it, but for us, because this is legit hustle, so y'all know who I'm talking to. For us, you have to tell yourself to shut the hell up sometimes inside. You need to believe. It doesn't matter if I don't believe you. It doesn't matter if your parents don't believe in you. It doesn't matter if your friends don't believe in you. None of that matters. The only thing that matters is if you believe it. Because what you believe is what's going to come true for you. What I believe about you might not affect you at all. But what you believe about you is definitely going to be true. Right? You got this term, fake it till you make it. Don't ever fake it till you make it. Don't ever fake it till you make it. That is one of the most stupid ass things that I wish that we as a people would stop saying. It is not cool ever to be fake. Why do you want to be fake? Why would you even take that as an option to fake anything? Right? And the reason why it shoots you in the foot is because you know you fake. You can't believe in yourself because you know you're lying. You still faking. Even if nobody around you knows it, you know it. So how can you be persistent in your course, in your pursuits, when you can't even believe you because you lying? You faking it. In order to be persistent, you can never fake it till you make it. You can try it, but it won't last long because you're lying to yourself. And if you believe those lies, that just makes you a compulsive liar. Right? So don't ever fake it till you make it. So what are you supposed to do instead? You do something until it becomes true. You do it until it becomes true. I'm going to share another personal story with you. Years ago, when I first decided I was going to get into web development and I wanted to learn how to code, right? When people ask me what you doing, I would say web development. But inside I feel this little bit of cringe. Mike, you ain't built no apps. You barely know how to code. You just not learning how to read and write Python. You ain't built nothing. How you a web developer? That was my inner voice, right? So I kept on, I kept studying, I kept learning, I took courses. And then I started building apps. Not for you, not for her, not for him, not for the public. You can't download not a one of my apps on the App Store or the Apple Store. The Play Store or the Apple Store. I built apps for me. I built the things that I needed for my business in the form of web apps, right? Then it got to the point that now when I tell people I'm a tech entrepreneur and I'm a web developer, it doesn't matter if they believe me because I know it's true because I have done it. right? So don't ever fake it till you make it. You keep doing it until it becomes true, so that your inner voice doesn't condemn you. So that when you tell people what you do, when you tell people what your business is, that little voice ain't coming back saying, nigga, you lying, you faking, you ain't doing that. Because that inner voice will condemn you, or it'll set you free, right? Because once you believe it, once you truly believe what you're doing, once you truly believe in yourself, that inner voice stops condemning you and it starts to agree with you. So when you say, yeah, I'm a web developer, instead of being like, I don't know, Mike, that voice be like, hell yeah, that's what we do. Yeah, that's what I'm about. That inner voice don't condemn me no more. I don't feel like a fraud. I don't feel like I'm lying when I tell people I'm a tech entrepreneur. Even though you ain't heard of nothing I've developed, it doesn't matter. It's still true. No one that you know of developed Lister. Insurgent, you ain't never heard of Insurgent. That's mine. You didn't develop it. You didn't code it. She didn't do it. He didn't do it. I did it. I developed it. I modeled it. I drew it out. I had to go back and redo it because of AI and all these other things that came out in the process. I went through so many bumps and bruises along the way to developing that app that it made me a web developer in reality. I did all the things any other web developer would do. If I worked for Facebook, I would have been doing the same thing developing their app that I was doing for my own app. So it doesn't matter who else knows. It doesn't matter who else believes it. Long as I know it's true. Long as you know it's true. Right? Because this is about being persistent. And in order to be persistent, you got to believe in you when no one else does. Because a lot of times, no one is going to. But if you're not doing it righteously, if you're not doing it honestly, you're not going to believe in yourself. And instead of agreeing with you and giving you the confidence from inside to keep moving forward when you're facing all the obstacles, you won't have it there. Right? So do it until it becomes true. Third thing, purpose. The definition of persistence mentioned continuing in a purpose. Do you have a purpose? What is your purpose? As an entrepreneur, do you have a purpose? As a self-employed person, do you have a purpose? Huh? As a small business owner, do you and your business have a purpose? Not a goal, not an objective. Those aren't purposes. Let's say make a lot of money, right? Somebody asked me, as Mike, as an entrepreneur, what's your purpose? Let's say I say, make a lot of money. Making a lot of money can never be a purpose because it has an end point. It can end. Goals and objectives have end dates. When you're setting goals, one of the things you have to do in setting effective goals is you have to give that goal an end date. Hey, by January of 2026. Hey, by December of 2028. By June of whatever. You have to establish an end point for a goal or an objective. A purpose does not have an end date. Purposes answer the question, why? Your purpose is why you're doing this. Now, if you said, Mike, why do you want to make a lot of money? Oh, because I want to make sure my children have better options than I did. I'm trying to break the generational curses in my family of poverty and not going to school, not having higher education. They didn't do this, whatever. When you can answer why you're doing something, now you have a purpose for doing it. Right? So do you have a purpose? Do you have a why? If I ask you why you're doing something, can you tell me? Can you tell me why you're doing something? Or are you just doing it? Right? Purposes transcend time because they don't have an end point. Not even when you die, your purpose doesn't die with you. Your purpose becomes your legacy at death. See the difference between a goal? If my goal was to make a lot of money, I might get there, but when I die, that goal is over with. But if my purpose is to break the generational curse of poverty in my family, then when I die and go on, I have left a legacy. And that legacy survives long after death. So do you have a purpose? And what is your purpose? Do you need a purpose? Let me tell you the easiest way to define or give yourself a very clear purpose. Make it something bigger than you. Make it something bigger than you. Back to the example of making a lot of money. If my purpose is to break the generational curse of poverty in my family, if your purpose is to break the cycle of people not having degrees or attaining any higher levels of education, that is so big because it's bigger than you. And it's so big that the challenges and personal things and obstacles that you come up against, it's bigger than those two. So when you make your purpose about something that's bigger than you, that purpose becomes the fuel that you need. It becomes your motivation. Right? And we're talking about being persistent. And remember, purpose is part of the definition of being persistent. So if you got a clearly defined purpose, preferably something bigger than yourself, something that benefits someone other than you, you have just fueled, you just added that much more fuel to your ability to be persistent. And for those of us as hustlers, entrepreneurs, self-employed individuals, how much would it benefit you to have a source of fuel for your motivation that's bigger than the problems that you're going to face personally? Your objective is to break poverty, the cycle of poverty in your family. Does it matter if you get divorced? Nope. If your purpose is to break the cycle of no one in your family attaining higher education, well, when granny passed, is that going to stop you? Nope. Because your purpose is bigger than those challenges. It's bigger than those obstacles. Those things, as big as they may be, divorce, loss of a loved one, are huge things. They're going to throw you off emotionally. They may affect you financially. They're going to disrupt your time. They may disrupt you economically. But because you have a clearly defined purpose, they still won't be big enough to stop you. They still won't be big enough to make you stop because your purpose is too big. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So, in summary, the three things that we talked about in being persistent. 1, have a clearly defined course of action. The reason you need that clearly defined course of action is so that you can maintain the forward momentum every single day. My course of action, hey, I get up, I run a mile, I come home, I take a shower, I jump on a computer, I work on the app. I have a clear set of steps every day. So that, every day when I get up and perform those steps, no matter how big that step is, no matter how small that step is, I'm still going to maintain forward momentum because I have a course of action. Also, we talked about beliefs. Make sure that you can believe in yourself. You can't truly believe in yourself when you're faking it till you make it. Never ever fake it till you make it. You do it until it becomes true. Never requires any faking. You just simply do it until it becomes true. And finally, third, purpose. Do you have a clearly defined purpose? If someone comes up to you and asks you, hey, what's your purpose? Can you articulate to them very directly, very succinctly, what your purpose is? You need that purpose to fuel you. And the best fuel for your purpose is make sure that it's something that's bigger than you. Your purpose should always be bigger than you, so that it becomes the fuel to overcome any of the personal challenges that you face in achieving your goals, reaching your objectives, becoming the person that you're on this path to be. You don't give up. You don't lose hope. No matter what comes along, anything short of death will not stop you because you have a purpose. And that's something that I know my brother Andrew Pride can definitely relate to. Purpose. When you have a purpose bigger than you, it doesn't matter what you come up against. Because anything short of death won't stop you at all. And death will only make sure that you leave a lasting legacy. That makes sense, y'all? Y'all rocking with me? When you do these three things, when you have a course of action, when you can believe in yourself, and when you have a purpose bigger than yourself, you don't just become persistent. You aren't just being persistent. Now you're becoming the personification of persistence. You are persistent. Your actions, yes, they'll be consistent, but you become the persistence itself. That makes sense, everybody? Y'all rocking with me? So, take those three little gems, incorporate them into your life, incorporate them into your businesses, incorporate them into the things that you do, so that you can benefit, you can achieve, you can be the person that you want to be. You can be the person that you're striving to be. You can have the business that you're striving to build. You can reach the levels of financial, personal, family, whatever type of success that you're striving for because you have become persistence. All right? I appreciate y'all for rocking with me, man. I think that's the last slide. Yeah, that's the last one right there. And yeah, man, I appreciate y'all. I appreciate everybody that show up. I don't care if it's 2,000 people or 2 people. My channel's new, just getting started. So anybody that shows up and shows me some love, I appreciate it. Once again, shout out to my brother and his family. Shout out to Monique Robinson for pulling up and spending some time with her bro. And anybody else who catches this live, whether you're in the chat or not, or anybody who catches it on the replay, man. As my homeboy Spider Loke says over on Spider Loke Most Easty. If y'all don't know Spider Loke, check the homie out. But JITA, man, which stands for gratitude is the attitude. And with supreme gratitude, I say thank you to everybody that showed up or checked this video out, especially if you make it this far in it. So salute from your bro Legit Hustle. And with that said, y'all know how we do. We're going to rock out with a little more music. And I think success kind of exemplifies a lot of what Legit Hustle is about as a channel. So We're going to close this one out with the song Success. Thanks, everybody. Love y'all, man. And y'all know my motto. Hustle smarter, man. I got a question. What does success mean to you? Is it money? Is it fame? Whatever it is, make sure you define success for yourself. When you have a high drive for achievement, sometimes you get misunderstood. If no one else knows who you are and what you about, you gotta know who you are and what you about. Because otherwise, they'll play tricks with your mind, you know what I'm saying?
Am I really wrong for wanting the finer things? Create a new reality, chasing after a dream. Came up with a scheme, the destination was to win. And hop about the rat race that everybody was in. Misunderstood, but out for good like a quick right. You drop your guards, you get hit hard in a fist fight. Sometimes success, it comes with an evil twin. Like feeling detached, like where do I begin? When most of my friends, they think I'm all about a dollar. In reality, I think I'm more like a scholar who's just looking for an outlet, but hasn't figured out yet exactly how to express inspiration I'm blessed with. So, in between envy, jealousy, and greed, seeing others in need in a heart that still grieves. If all the bread in the world would mean that I could feed everyone, then what would it really mean? Probably not a thing.
So regardless, whatever you define success as, you know, make sure that you keep your balance. Life isn't one-dimensional, so whatever you define as success, make sure you have a counterbalance to keep you grounded, like friends and family, some that you love, some bigger than yourself, you know? Check it.
On second thought, I'm tripping a little. You know life can't be Skittles when it's often a riddle. Like, why do most people in communities pay their bills on time? Cause of people like me. My business is make the world move. Whether it's cutting hair or serving soul food. What would we be as a society if the people don't have the tools to try to improve? So, to the baker, the candlestick maker, tired single parent rent but still risk taker, to the kid that's dreaming somewhere right now while everybody around them think his head's in the clouds. I'm here to tell you, you could never be a failure. You've accomplished more already than most people will ever, but never forget the success that you crave means be your own master and make money your slave.
So I guess what I'm saying is, it's all good to pursue things in life, pursue business, pursue whatever it is that we think makes us successful, but a truly successful life has to be balanced. You know, it can't be all about you. It can't be all about money. It can't be all about cars or jewelry or women or getting high, whatever it is, you know, whatever it is you do. So, stay balanced. That's Nirvana, by the way. Live your life in a state of balance. You know what I'm saying? And enjoy your success.